Welcome to Kinnick Red Devil football. We're up here in beautiful Massawa at Edgren High School. Here for a clash of the Titans tonight. This is Rob Riegel bringing you the action on C-Phase 7, division of your MWR. Tonight we have a second of a series of battles between Kinnick and Massawa. Kinnick losing the first game this year, hoping to come back to Edgren's field and get a little bit of payback here tonight, and with a 3-1 record and on Kinnick's behalf and a 4-0 record on Edgren's behalf, this is one of the best matches of the Conto Plains season for Kinnick, and even though this doesn't count in league play, Kinnick wants to get something back. And on the run, immediately picked up to the 20 and with some running room up past the 30-yard line to about the 37-yard line, looked like on that particular carry number 41, and that would be, for the Edgren Eagles, that would be Demetrius Clark, and we're going to hear him a lot tonight. Demetrius Clark had a big game, as did the quarterback that's going to be starting tonight as the Edgren Eagles take over on offense, David Kaloe. Kaloe had a beautiful first period against Kinnick last game and came out firing, and Kinnick in a new kind of defense tonight. It's a 5-2 defense, more up there to stop the run on the front line, and something Edgren hasn't seen this year. Kinnick's going to try and switch it up, 1st and 10. Kaloe's going to hand the ball off and stopped immediately for about a 1-yard loss by the Kinnick Red Devils. And in on that tackle was Matt Engstrom. We're going to hear his name called a lot tonight, as he is one of the workhorses for the Kinnick Red Devils. And on that carry was number 2, it looked like, and that would be Adam Lewis, the fullback from Austin, Texas. Massawa is a blend of both Air Force and Navy personnel, as there is a naval detachment up here, and of course Kinnick representing the Yokosuka Naval Base and the community that surrounds that. So it's going to bring up a 2nd and 11. Kaloe looks, takes the snap to the first back through, who's got running room, but there's a penalty on the far side of the play, and it looked like we saw some motion on the left-hand side. They're probably going to bring this one back, and a nice tackle made there by number 11, Matt Engstrom again, and on the carry again was Adam Lewis. So see what the penalty is. It's illegal procedure against Edgren Eagles, and they're going to accept that penalty and going to bring up another 2nd down, and this time it'll be 2nd down and 16. It's a beautiful evening out here, very crisp, cool evening here in the beautiful Massawa area. Very chilly. And one of the things that we did see last night was quite a bit of rain, so the field is soft, although in magnificent condition for tonight's action. Many of the Kinnick fans up here in a caravan last night, or 2 nights ago, as the buses came up a couple days ago, 2nd and 15, and caught in the backfield and taken down for a hard tackle for another loss on the play. And in on that tackle looked like Ponemeyer, number 22, also in on that tackle was number 82 for the Kinnick High School Red Devils, and that's Rextini Andrade, and he's come along this year and playing good football, as both of them teamed up for a huge loss on the play, and Kinnick defense dictating the tempo early in the game, as that's going to bring up about a 3rd down and 20 yards. They got to make it out to about the 47-yard line for a 1st down, so a big 3rd down play for Edgren, who is very capable of a quick strike here. I formation for the Edgren Eagles. Kaloe takes the snap. He's looking to throw, dropping, got some pressure, thrown behind his intended receiver, and that was intended for the tight end for the Edgren Eagles, number 80, Cario Brown, and Cario Brown unable to come up with that. Cario from Sumter, South Carolina. So, Kinnick Red Devils defense holds on the first series of downs. They're going to get the ball back, and the up back on this is number 232, Gerald Soriano, and deep is Daniel Ayers to receive the kickoff. And that snap is a little wobbly, but the kick is away nonetheless, and that's going to go over the head of Soriano, and Ayers is going to have that, pick the ball up and have some room to run, and he's hit hard, but he's going to move the ball all the way up to the 49-yard line. A nice return of about 10 yards on the play, as Ayers was able to break free of a couple of tackles and pick up a nice gain on that kick. Kinnick's going to take over on offense for their first series of downs tonight, and you're going to see a lot of, from what we hear from the coaches tonight, we're going to see a lot of Kinnick mixing it up. They're going to try and keep the Edgren Eagles off guard here. And one of the things that's going to be critical to watch for Kinnick tonight is how they perform on offense. The defense, good all year long, but the offense has had their moments. And we're going to see tonight if they can get off on a quick point or scoring drive here. Handoffs to the first back through with no running room and a loss of about 1 yard on the play. And in on that run was Matt Engstrom, Matt Engstrom, number 11, was the carrier on the play. Ray Ponemeyer is going to check in for the Kinnick High School Red Devils as Rextini Andre goes off. Second down and 11 for Kinnick. Single back set with Ponemeyer, the sole back in the backfield right now. 3 wideouts and a flanker. Matt Engstrom in the flanker position goes in motion. And he takes the snap right off, got some room out to the left-hand side, got some running room, and more still on his feet, down to about the 40 to the 39-yard line was Engstrom, and a well-designed play by Kinnick. And going to bring up the first down of the game for the Kinnick High School Red Devils as Engstrom's able to get off to the left-hand side with some fine blocking by the offensive line, the left-hand offensive line. Kinnick pretty excited about tonight's game. They want to make sure that they make a statement for the rest of the people in the Kanto Plain. If they can get a victory here, they're going to feel like it's an outright legitimate Kanto Plain championship if they can go the rest of the way. In the I formation is Kinnick. To the second back through Soriano, who's met immediately for about a 3-yard loss on the play. And number 78 for the Edgren Eagles came up with a nice hit, Matt Murrah out of Phoenix, Arizona. And he was really there before Soriano could even get to the ball. So the running for Kinnick so far in the first couple series of downs is a little bit hit or miss. Is a big game by Engstrom, and then 2 hard runs by the tailback for minimal gain. 4 wideout set, single back set. Ariel Zamora in motion, handoff to number 22, Ponemeyer. Ponemeyer has nowhere to run as he misfired on the handoff. The handoff didn't get to him quite in time, and Ponemeyer gets up and he's going to go off, but it's going to bring up a big third down play, and it's going to bring up about a third down and 15 yards for the first down. Daniel Ayers gets the play brought in from Soriano. So defense early dictating tempo here as Edgren's got Kinnick in a bit of a hole. 2 wideouts. I formation. Ayers takes the snap. He's looking to throw, but he's got nowhere to go as he's going to be thrown for a huge loss. And he's thrown down for about a 15-yard loss as he was unable to break free. And the officials, thinking that he still had some control of his destiny there, let him running back to about the 40-yard line before they called the play dead. And so that's going to be a huge loss and bring up a 4th down and about 35 yards for Kinnick as they're unable to come up with the play they needed here to get the first down. In to punt is Matt Engstrom. Back deep for the Edgren Eagles, and that's a nice punt that's away over to the right-hand side of the far side of the field. That ball's dropped. It's mishandled, and still a nice run up to about the 37-yard line. In on that carry was number 7, David Govan. Govan had a great game against Kinnick a couple of weeks ago when they were at Yokosuka, and he comes up with a nifty run after bobbling the ball. So they're going to take over 1st and 10 from about the 35-yard line, and that's where the officials mark the ball. This is the first time for Kinnick to play in the new Edgren Stadium here. This is a really nice complex that's been put together recently for the Edgren High School, and it's just a beautiful facility, and it's a great way for people to support football is to have a facility like this. Okay, looked like a little motion early, but nothing thrown, but that's going to be a minimal gain, a gain of about 2 yards on the play. That's number 2, Adam Lewis, on the carry for the Edgren Eagles. He picks up a couple yards, and Matt Engstrom was on the tackle. So Kinnick early showing good, tough defense as the run game for Edgren not going very far for him so far. And they're back in a single back set, offset formation. Actually in motion is number 30 for Edgren Eagles as he lines up to the left-hand side to the second back through and met immediately for a big loss on the play of about 2 yards. And up on that tackle was looked like a couple of Kinnick High School Red Devils, but in particular Daniel Ayers and Matt Steins looked like they were the 2 that led the charge on that play. So a loss of 2 yards, and it's going to bring up about a 3rd down and 11 for Edgren, who has yet to get a first down tonight, and this is their second series of down, their second possession. Still midway through the first quarter of play, 6 minutes on the clock. I formation again, 2 wideouts, either side of the field for the Edgren Eagles. It's a quarterback sneak, and that fooled nobody as the Kinnick High School Red Devils gang tackle Kaloe, and Kaloe tried to get through but did not have even a chance of fooling anyone on that play. And in on that tackle, again, Matt Engstrand, as well as it looked like Matt Steins again, and Rextini Andrade. So a good effort there. Richard Ball also having a hand on that tackle. So back deep to punt is going to be Kaloe. He serves in 2 roles. One is the quarterback and one is the punter here. He's getting ready to take the snap. That snap's a little wobbly again, too. He does get the ball away. That's to Ayers, who has to come up to field the ball. He's got some blockers out to the left-hand side. Got running room, breaking free to the 50-yard line where he's hit and tackled out of bounds very hard. But beautiful run back is at the 50-yard line. Kinnick gets great field position again, and number 80 on the tackle, Cario Brown, able to come up and horse collar Ayers and take him out to the far side, or to the near side. Kinnick getting ready to take over on their second possession of the game. 5:11 in the first quarter. Want to be able to talk to you tonight about some of the big MWR events coming up, but the first thing I want to comment on tonight is happy 223rd birthday to the United States Navy, celebrating that with the Navy Ball tonight. Want to wish all the people that attended that the best. I hope that we're able to put on a good event for you there, as MWR has really transformed the Thue Gymnasium into a really nice setting, and there's people right now that are just getting in the middle of those festivities. So happy birthday, United States Navy. Back to action here in the I formation. Ayers takes a snap to the second back through, so that looked like Ponemeyer or Soriano. That's Soriano, and Soriano not able to get much of a game going tonight as he's tackled for about a 3-yard loss on the play. And that's going to bring up maybe 4-yard loss on the play, bring up 2nd down and 14. So Edgren proving that they can get up on the defensive line just like Kinnick can and stop the run. Not much passing for the Kinnick High School Red Devils tonight, but this may be an opportunity to see the first one of the game. I formation for the Kinnick High School Red Devils to the second back through. That's Ponemeyer with the hole. He's going to get close to the original line of scrimmage, a gain of about 3 yards, and one of the first successful runs up the middle for the Kinnick High School Red Devils tonight. Going to bring up a 3rd down and about 11 yards for the Kinnick High School Red Devils. Kinnick coming in his 3-1. They're undefeated in the Kanto Plain. Their only blemish on the record is the Massawa Edgren Eagles. And Kinnick getting ready to take the snap. Daniel Ayers under center. Takes the ball, looking to pass. Got some protection this time. Rolling out to the right-hand side. Got room, but he's taken, dragged down by the collar. And a beautiful catch in it. A hard tackle made, but a beautiful reception there. Looked like Richard Ball on the reception. And that's exactly who it... No. Yeah, Richard Ball, number 81. No, actually Matt Engstrand on the tackle. And Matt's had a bit of a sore rib problem and sore shoulder problem, so he probably wasn't wanting to get hit there. But still a nice reception, but it's going to bring up a 4th down and about 4 yards, maybe 3.5 yards for the first down. And Kinnick's going to go ahead and punt as Engstrand gets ready to take the snap. Back deep, Edgren Eagles. Looks like Lewis and Govan. There's a penalty on the play. I think that's going to be motion or delay a game. And actually back deep for the Edgren Eagles is Will Newsom and David Govan. See what the penalty is. Try and get this sorted out for you. I want to welcome to the MWR community, IACE Travel. IACE Travel is taking the place of Sato Travel, and if you haven't had the chance to go by ITT to check out what they can offer, some impressive pricing for those of you that may be wanting to visit some different areas in the United States or even around Asia. The pricing is in yen, and with the yen rate as high as it is over the last few months, it's a good time to travel, so a good time to go check out ITT. Back deep again. Engstrand gets just as good a punt away this time over to the left-hand side of the field, and that's going to be Govan. Govan's got room, and he's got an opening, and he's forced out of bounds at about the 50-yard line, so there's no net gain on that for Kinnick as they actually get the ball back to Kinnick's original line of scrimmage. And that was a big play for Edgren, who had been fighting field position a little bit in the first two possessions, but Govan gives him great position around the 50-yard line, and Kinnick's going to be pressed to hold him from the position that they're at. If you hear a lot of background noise, that's the Edgren band. They're right off to my right-hand side. You may hear some of the noise that they're creating as the evening goes on, a good-sounding band. I want to thank all the people from Massawa who have shown all of the Kinnick players and family, and of course myself and the cameraman tonight, Skylar Engstrom. I got Engstrom on the brains. Sorry, Skylar. Bergstrom. We've had just good hospitality tonight. Kaloe, and that ball is broken up nicely. Soriano got his hand on it at the last moment as he was beat by about 1.5 yards, had some room beyond him, and Kaloe showing that he's got an arm early as he was able to air that one out for about 30 yards, and it would have been right on the money had Soriano not got his paw on it. So anyway, we've had a great time since we've been up here. Again, want to extend our thanks to all the people here in Massawa who made that happen for us. Kaloe dropping back deep, and that ball misses its target as intended receiver looked like number 83 and was unable to come up with it. Number 86. Looks like Jay Hawthorne. Don't have his first name. So Kaloe showing that he's willing to come out and fire a couple of passes as he had protection on both of his pass attempts. But it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 10 as the penalty is declined. 3rd and 10. They don't have the marker quite right over there. There they go. They got it on the far side of the field now. In the I formation is the Edgren Eagles. Kinnick, 8 men in the box. The throw's away. That ball is going to be incomplete as it skipped off the ground and unable to come up with the reception on the play. Looked like number 89, and that would be Mike Rollo, who also had a good game. He's out of Houston, Texas, and good attempt there by Kaloe as he showed on 3 successive downs that he's willing to pass the ball. Was unable to come up with the completion there. He's going to sit, drop back to punt. Back at the 20-yard line to receive is Daniel Ayers. And this punt doesn't go very far. And Soriano's trying to signal the players to stay away from it as it skipped along the ground. It's going to be down at the 28-yard line where Kinnick will take over 1st and 10. And with a 0-0 score, zip on the board, double out, and 2:18 left in the first quarter. Defense dictating tempo. And Kinnick's got to be feeling pretty good about their plight in life here as early points hurt them in their loss to Edgren at home as Edgren was able to put up 2 early touchdowns. And Kinnick fought their way back and put up some scores late in the game, but never were really in it after the first quarter, so I'm sure the coaches are feeling happy about the performance of the Kinnick defense. On offense now, in a single back set, is Ayers. Hands to the flanker, and that play worked earlier for Engstrom to the left-hand side of the field, but out to the right, Ariel Zamora was unable to come up with any yardage as he's tackled immediately, and that sniffed out well by the Edgren Eagles. That's going to bring up a 2nd down and about 15 yards as there was about a 5-yard loss on the play. Kinnick unable to come up with any running room. In the I formation again is Ayers. And Kinnick trying to get the running game going to no avail thus far. Ayers wants somebody to move. And he's getting ready to take the snap and does. Going to hand to the second back through. That's Ponemeyer. Ponemeyer gets some good yardage as he plows ahead and gains back to about the original line of scrimmage, up about the 27, 28-yard line. That's going to bring up 3rd and 10. And so far tonight, Kinnick facing a lot of 3rd downs and long, and really need to stay out of that situation as, offense has been real hard to come by for Kinnick. And we'll see what they come up with here as Ayers has had to roll out to find time to throw the last couple of 3rd downs. And it looks like Edgren's going to pin their ears back and start coming. I formation again for Kinnick, and you'll see that from them a lot tonight. That's their preferred scenario. And off to the races a little bit for a few yards gain there on the play was looked like Engstrom, and it was Engstrom on the carry, unable to come up with the 1st down. And the running game dictating tempo here as Kinnick only has 1 completion. that to Matt Edgren, and it's going to bring up another 4th down, and Kinnick's going to be forced to punt with 34 seconds left on the clock in the first period. The punt's away, a beautiful punt, and that's going to roll out and come out of bounds right around the 31-yard line. An excellent effort as Edgren was able to get a hold of one, and Govan was unable to get up to the ball. So a beautiful effort by Matt Edgren as he gives Misawa, or the Edgren Eagles, no shot at returning the ball. So Kinnick back on defense. Edgren has 19 seconds left in the first quarter to try and get something done before they switch ends. And ready to put the ball in play, it's Kaloe. Kaloe gets ready to get underneath center, and does. In motion is Govan. Hands off to the first back through, and tackled by, looked like basically Daniel Ayers and Ponemeyer in on that tackle. And still on his feet, but the play's blown dead, and that's Adam Lewis. And Adam Lewis doing a good job fighting for some yardage there, and he's up close to a first down as the run play successful there. Going to bring up a 2nd down and about 2 yards for the Edgren Eagles. So Edgren has their real first successful run, and the quarter is over. 0-0 is the score here from beautiful Misawa, Japan. We have a deadlock here. Is Kinnick nor Edgren able to come up with points in the first period? They're going to switch ends, and that's going to give us a chance to talk about some other things that are going on in MWR. You know, we mentioned IH Travel, but that ties into a lot of the things that ITT does, and there's a lot of tours coming up in the fall here, and encourage a lot of people to get out and see some of the beautiful things that are happening around the Kanto Plain area. Negishi Navy Day Ball. Want to bring that up to people who live out in Negishi. Don't want you to feel deprived on the birthday of what keeps us all employed here. And that's going to be October 17th at 6 p.m. at the Negishi All Hands Club. Encourage everybody in Negishi to come out for that. And it's a nice play made by Edgren, and that's a reverse to the flanker, and with plenty of room out to the near side of the field was number 23, and he was tackled by Gerald Soriano, and that's Eddie Stearman, and we have not seen him, Eddie out of Abilene, Texas. We have not seen him in the first game, and this is the first time we've seen him carry the ball thus far this year. Matt Edgren looking over to the far side to try and get some guidance from Bob Stovall as Kinnick allowing the huge first down there. Kaloe under center takes a snap, pitches back with room to run is Govan, but he's quickly pursued, but out to the far side of the field down the sideline with a huge play. Again, a nice run, and Edgren threatening early in the second quarter of play, and Kinnick unable to stop the run on 2 successive sweeps, one to the left and one to the far side of the field, and Edgren threatening with their deepest penetration of the game down to the 27-yard line, and it looks like Kinnick's going to take a timeout, and they do, as Bob Stovall wants to talk it over with the Red Devil troops. Community Center's got some guitar lessons coming up, evening lessons for adults and children. The fee's $30 a month and $40 for children and $40 for adults. I guess adults being harder to teach than children, I'm not sure there. But please call for times. That'd be 243-6713. A lot of things going on at the Community Center. Some of the other events that are going on right now, we've got a Navy Birthday Callaway Format Golf Tournament, October 16th. That's going to be at the Atsugi Golf Course. Tee time is 7:36 a.m., and they've got a bus that always takes you up to Atsugi if you want to get on it. It'll leave Fu Gym at 5:30. The sign-up deadline is October 12th, so you'll need to get after this. We may not be able to get this broadcast to you before you'd have to sign up. Kinder Music. Kinder Music classes are held on Tuesday morning. Handouts of each class description are available at the Community Center. Sing, dance, and learn to play simple instruments with us. Parents and children are welcome. Again, 243-6713. We're going to get back to live action here with the first down for the Edgren Eagles as they're deep into Kinnick territory. Kinnick defense trying to hold up the goose egg on the scoreboard as they've been able to maintain on defense most of the game so far, but facing a serious challenge in the I formation. Kaloe pitches back and caught on the run and taken down for a loss, and a nice tackle made, but a penalty, and that may be on Daniel Ayers, and that may be a personal foul. He may have gotten some of the face mask on the tackle. So we'll try and get this sorted out to see what the penalty is. And we don't have any early indication here from the official. No flag on the play. And oftentimes what happens there is that they see they think they may see an illegal block or something, and they defer to one of the other officials who says, no, I saw it from a better position. So they picked that flag up, which is good for Kinnick because they were able to make a good stop on the play. Second down and about 13-yard lines. Kaloe under center. They're in the I formation. Two wideouts. Kaloe looks to pass. Play action pass, throwing deep and got a man wide open, but closing quickly, but caught and a touchdown. That's number 89 for the Edgren Eagles as he scores. Had two men on him, Soriano and Richard Ball, unable to defend, but he got free and was wide open, and it took too much for Soriano and Ball to get back and cover. And that's going to be 6-0. The first score coming in the second quarter with about 11 minutes to play for the Edgren Eagles. And Kinnick back up against it again as they trail now 6-0. Going for the two-point conversion on the play is Edgren. Kaloe's under center. He's got the quarterback keeper and goes right through as Kinnick was not expecting that. And it looked like Kinnick wasn't prepared for the two-point conversion as it late coming in on the play was Ray Ponemeyer. So that's going to bring the score to 8-0. They haven't put that up on the scoreboard yet, but I'm sure they won't forget to do that. And Kinnick's going to get the ball kicked over to them. And so far on offense, unable to come up with anything. And Edgren, with a really nice drive put together starting at their own 31-yard line, come up with 8 big points and now lead Kinnick High School Red Devils 8-0. At the Youth Center, movie night every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. All teens are welcome. So if you're a teenager, you want to go hang out with other teenagers, go to the Youth Center there, the Teen Center, every Monday night, get to watch a couple movies. Back deep for Kinnick, Ponemeyer and Soriano getting ready to take the kickoff. And the kicker for the Edgren Eagles, number 52. Don't have his number or his name. Maybe 62, I'll have to check. Excuse me, 53. Ball's away to the up back. That's Daniel Ayers. He's got running room. He's out to the left-hand side, has room to run. There's a flag on the play, and the ball gets loose, and it's out of bounds and pushed out of bounds, still going Kinnick's way, and the official quick on to get on that and indicate that is going Kinnick's way. But there's a flag on the play thrown early, and that typically is an illegal block, so Kinnick may be facing 10-yard penalty here. See what the officials say. And they're certainly aiming Kinnick's way, and that's exactly what it is, an illegal block. And they're going to march it off. So that's going to put Kinnick right around about the 34-yard line, it looks like. Apologize for my cough there. So Kinnick up against it here with 10:56 to left in the second period of play. 1st and 10. They're going to take over from right around the 35-yard line. Ayers was able to get out to some good field position, but Kinnick penalized on an illegal block. And they're going to open it up as the formation's opened up. It's a single back set. In motion is Edgren. Snap, and it's a fake this time, and the pitch goes out to Soriano, who has room, and he's out to the right-hand side, has running room, and takes a hard hit at the 50-yard line. And number 5 gets a nice hit on him, Will Newsom, but nonetheless a first down and a nice run by Soriano, who had not been able to get free until that play, but picks up a huge 15 yards on the play as he's able to get out to about the 50-yard line, call it the 48. So a gain of 13. And it's 1st and 10. On the near side hash mark, Kinnick will take over. Or excuse me, not take over. 1st and 10, Ayers. Kinnick in the I formation again to the near side of the field. It's Richard Ball. And another option play. Ayers sees some room out to the left-hand side, cuts upfield, gains about 2 yards on the play. Sees across the 50 to about the 49 of Edgren, and that's going to be a gain of about 3 yards on the play and bring up a 2nd down and 7. So a nice run by Ayers as he's able to cut up and fake the pitch a little bit, found some daylight, and Kinnick going with a little bit of the more option set here, and it seems to be working early in the 2nd period of play. Kinnick gets ready to take the snap on 2nd down. Ayers is looking to pass. He's rolling out. He's got some pressure and the ball's away, and that's a nice pass to Edgren, who was able to get free, and that's going to be close to a 1st down. That's actually going to bring up about a 3rd down and 1 or 2 on the play, but a nice reception and pass to Edgren as he's able to come up with his 2nd completion of the night and gets near a 1st down. And Kinnick coming up with this, they're really their first sustained effort of the evening on offense as they move it deeper into Edgren territory. Ball at the 43-yard line of Edgren, and there's going to be a timeout called by Kinnick High School Red Devils as they want to talk about what they have to do to pick up this very important 1st down. Some of the interesting things going on around some of the clubs. You have Sunday brunch themes at the Officers Club, and Sunday brunch is basically 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., and if you haven't had the chance to get out there, it's really a special event. A lot of good food out there, but October 11th there's going to be Indian cuisine, and that's going to be tomorrow, so I don't think anyone that's listening to this broadcast will make that. But the 18th will be French cuisine. And then October 25th, West Coast USA cuisine. So probably get to see a little guava fruit action there and some salads, who knows. But anything they put together is good, and it's good to see some diversity in the menu. So if you're interested, make sure you come out on Sunday mornings to the Officers Club. Okay, big 3rd down. In a split formation, in the shotgun, and Ayers is looking to throw, and he does have some room. He gets it up, but Edgren gets the ball on the tip, and he's tackled around the 30 to the 28-yard line. The Edgren defender did a great job on the play. That was number 85 defending on the play, but, number 25, and unable to come up with the tip or deflection away from Edgren. Edgren stayed with it, comes up with the ball and a big 1st down, and I don't think anybody in the stadium thought he'd get to that, but he did and was forced out of bounds near the 25-yard line down to about the 27, let's call it. 1st and 10, Kinnick's deepest push of the night. In motion goes Ariel Zamora. Single back set. And the pitch is away, but Soriano needs to fall on it and does as that gets away from Daniel Ayers. Looking at the option there and unable to get away from the defensive rush of the Edgren Eagles was Ayers, who put it on the ground, and Soriano did a remarkable job of falling on that ball. That's going to be a big loss. That's going to be a loss of about 12 yards on a play and going to bring up 2nd and 22. And it'll be interesting to see what Coach Bob Stovall has in his bag of tricks for a 2nd and 22. Ray Ponemeyer lines up in the backfield in a single back set, 4 wideouts to the near side, Andrade and Edgren, out to the far side, Richard Ball and Zamora. Daniel Ayers under pressure again, has to throw, and being a left-handed quarterback, he's unable to get the ball off. He does get some yardage, is still on his feet and is moving ahead, and still gets up and still pushing as a scrum develops about the 25-yard line, and a huge gain for Daniel Ayers as he's able to break free from several Edgren defenders for a huge gain, and that's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 5 yards, and call it a pickup of 17 yards on the play as Daniel Ayers refusing to go down, and that's just a nice effort on his behalf. Daniel Ayers lines him up. Gerald Soriano, single back set. Ayers gets ready to take the snap and does. Looks to throw. Has that pass away and caught. by Edgren, who pulls ahead and still on his feet, gets down close to the first down. It'll be interesting to see where the mark is on this play, as Edgren refused to give up the ball, and it looked like the defender was trying to take the ball away from Matt. But the officials aren't seeing it that way, nor should they, as Edgren gets up with a little bit of a limp, but he's going to run back to the huddle, and it'll be interesting. They're calling it first down and 10. Kinnick High School Red Devils, as they come up and survive a huge 2nd and 22, and in 2 plays managed to pick up a first down, and that's got to really help the offensive intensity here, as for the first time tonight they've been able to really move the ball at will. Edgren sinking in here is at the 16-yard line, call it the 16.5-yard line. They're going to have a fight on their hands, as Kinnick is really threatening here midway through the second quarter of play. Daniel Ayers under center. In motion was Edgren. Ayers out to the right-hand side. He keeps the ball and gets ahead, and he's got a nice gain there of about 2 yards on the play. And a little bit of late pushing there by some of the Edgren Eagles, but no flag thrown. And that's going to take it down to about the 15-yard line, gain of about 2 yards on the play, as Edgren's able to get upfield a little bit on the right-hand side on the option. Daniel Ayers is talking to the official about something. They want to talk to him about what's going on the field. We don't have any idea what that may be regarding. And it looks like they're going to call a penalty on that play, and I think what ended up happening there was a face mask late, and they're asking Daniel Ayers, what do you want to do, move it ahead? And that's going to make it first down and 5. And I don't know why they're calling that second down. Should be first down and 5, and I don't know what the linesman over there is doing. He's got it worked out now. First down and 5 yards for Kinnick, and that's a big penalty deep in their own end. Edgren commits a penalty there, and it may have been offsides. It's tough to tell. We didn't get the official call. Throwing is, nice pass, but met immediately. And that pass attempt was to Soriano, but met immediately by the Edgren Eagles for a loss on the play of looked like about an 8-yard loss on the play, and it's going to bring up a second down and 12. As that fooled no one, and it looked like they were trying to, attempting to set up a screen off to the left-hand side for Soriano, but the defense of Edgren sniffed that out and unable to come up with any yardage. As a matter of fact, a loss of about 7 yards on the play was Soriano, who did a good job just catching the ball and might have been well served just to drop that one. So out to the far side goes Richard Ball and Ariel Zamora. Going to have 4 wideouts here. Rextini Andrade also out. Matt Steins. And a nice play and catch, a nice pass and completion, and that looked like it went out to Richard Ball, who we were talking about, out to the far left-hand side of the field, and he's going to be close to a first down. And there's another time here, and it looks like there's going to be a penalty, as that's going to go against, a timeout for Kinnick, as they just stopped the clock. Uncertain of what was going on there, but that's going to be the last timeout for the Kinnick High School Red Devils, as they're facing a big third down play. And the officials are trying to get them to stop the clock, and I think they finally got their attention. Now, there may have been a flag on the play. It's tough to say what's going on. They're just trying to get more time put back on the clock. And they may have said that pass was not complete, and I think that's what it's going to be, as third down and 12 looms large here for Kinnick. It looked like Edgren Ball did get the completion, but they called it an incomplete pass, and it's going to bring up a third down. So let's talk about some other things that might be going on. As I was saying, ITT's got some things going on. And coming up October 17th, Orabandai and Azu Wakamatsu sightseeing. And I probably butchered that, but it sounds interesting. If you're into it, get out and see it. Looking forward to bingo tomorrow night, but one of the things that's coming up again is Monster Bingo is going to be coming up again right after Thanksgiving, and what we're going to end up having for you folks is we're going to have Mardi Gras following the day following Thanksgiving, and then right after that, the very next day, Monster Bingo. Pitches away. That was in a shotgun, and Ayers lets that ball go, and that's to nobody but the middle of the field, and that had no hope of hitting anyone, and Ayers may have been well advised not to let that one go as he was facing some pressure, but down on the field is an Edgren player slow to get up. And it looks like he's being helped up by his teammate, and that's number 34 for the Edgren Eagles, Drew Cabanez. And Cabanez makes it up and gets back to his huddle. So it's going to be 4th down for Kinnick in about 11 yards. Call it 11 and a half. And Soriano brings the play into Daniel Ayers. J.J. Samar goes up to the center position to take the ball as the Red Devils break the huddle. Engstrand and Soriano in the I formation. Daniel Ayers, and that's going to be a delay of game. Too late getting the play in, and it didn't look like Kinnick realized how much time they were taking as Soriano was very late getting the play in, and then Ayers not in any hurry to get him up to the line of scrimmage. Didn't recognize how much time went off the clock, and going to bring up an even tougher now, 4th down and 16. Soriano brings it in this time, and with a huge 4th down, and Kinnick looked like they were going to put some points on the board. They came down and they were dictating tempo, but a couple of mistakes late in this drive have cost them, and they're backed up, but they've been able to overcome some big deficits in yardage here, and in the I formation again with 2 wideouts, and they're again delay a game, and they're not getting the ball off near quick enough, and what's ended up happening is that they're taking too much time in the huddle. And I think Coach Stovall is just getting irritated. And they want to talk to the official about that because it looked like they were holding the clock, and they did not agree with the call. And the official says, I need a timeout. Something's going on, and it's causing problems. And I think they want to talk to some of the kids that are down there near the other end of the field and let them know that they got to clear out of the area and stay off the sidelines. And that's exactly what it is. So anyway, that's going to stop play for a few moments as the officials are trying to get things worked out, and the coaches are unhappy about that second delay of game call, but Kinnick taking a lot of time in the huddle. And they're running up to the line of scrimmage this time as they don't want to face another 5-down penalty. This is going to bring up 4th and 21. And it's pretty obvious that Ayers is going to be gunning near the end zone. He's got to make up most of the field of play that's available to him, and he's got the ball away, and that's a screen, and that's a middle screen, and a nice defensive play as he had all kinds of room. Soriano had a lot of blocking out in front of him, but a great defensive play made by number 34 of the Edgren Eagles as he came up, Drew Cabanez, and he plays at fullback on the offensive side, came up and made the stop, and Soriano had nowhere to go, and it was a beautifully designed play as it looked like he was going to be able to get out and gain a lot of yardage, but that's going to turn it over to Edgren, and Kinnick goes back on defense, and Edgren will have the ball on their own 23, 24-yard line, or excuse me, 28-yard line. Kinnick putting 7 men up in the box, trying to stop the run. In the I formation is Edgren. It's a fake by Kaloe, but Daniel Ayers sniffed that out, and Kaloe's running and has nowhere to go, but he has an open receiver, and Soriano was almost able to come up with the interception, but didn't, as it came right to his feet, but he was unable to dive for the ball. And a nice job by Kaloe rolling out and even getting rid of the ball as Daniel Ayers came in untouched and almost had Kaloe for a huge loss, but a 2nd and 10 for the Edgren Eagles. It's going to be critical for Kinnick to stop Edgren here as they're already facing an 8-0 deficit, and Edgren had a beautiful sustained drive their last time down the field to put 8 points up on the board. Again in the I formation, the Edgren Eagles, Kaloe brings him up, gets ready to take the snap, 2 wideouts. And that's to the flanker, and that was caught again, but still beautiful running there. And on that play, and almost very close to a 1st down was number 5, Will Newsom. And Newsom with some nifty running as it looked like he was going to be tackled for a loss initially as it was sniffed out well by Engstrand, but was unable to get a shoelace to drag him down. And they're going to call that about a 2nd down and 2 to go as or excuse me, 3rd down and 2 to go. And Kinnick in need of a big stop here with just a little under 5 minutes to go in the first half of play. Kinnick is trailing 8-0. If they can stop them here, and even if they can't get anything done, they do get the ball first in the second half. So it's one thing for you to keep in mind at home if you're watching the game. That ball's handed off to the back, and it doesn't look like he may have got it. It's tough. He needed to get right to the 40-yard line, and it didn't look like he quite made it as the officials spotting him somewhere around the 39.5-yard line, and that's going to bring up a 4th down. And it's going to be interesting to see what Edgren does here, as they need to get to about the 41-yard line to get the first down. And they're going to stop the clock, and they may measure this when it's that close. And they're saying that was a turnover on the play, and a huge problem there for Edgren is late in the first half, they come up with their first turnover of the game, and Kinnick seemed like they just landed on the ball. I wasn't able to determine what happened, but the ball must have come out and Kinnick landed on it, and they are giving it to Kinnick with 4:09 left, and deep in Edgren territory at the 40-yard line, Kinnick takes over on first and 10. Soriano with a nice run. Looks like he made about 5 yards up to the 35-yard line, and the Kinnick Red Devils are getting in and out of the field of play quick now, as with 2 successive delay of game penalties on their last drive, which really set them back and cost them dearly as they were deep in the Edgren end. It looks like they're trying to get up to the line of scrimmage early. Daniel Ayers going to bring them up to the line of scrimmage. Richard Ball to the near side. Out to the far side of the field is Matt Engstrom. Or excuse me, Matt Steins, or Jacob Fritz. And that ball's on the ground, and it looks like Edgren landed on the ball, though. Once they'll sort out that pile, as it looks like Ayers never did get the snap from center, and they're saying it belongs to Kinnick. So landing on the ball was number 60, and a good play by number 60 for the Kinnick High School Red Devils. That's Brad Warner. Brad, a freshman, able to land on the ball, and that's huge for Kinnick, even though it brings up a bit of a dilemma in the yardage. It's going to bring up a 3rd down at about 9 yards to go for the first down. At least they didn't turn the ball over to Edgren and gave themselves a shot. Andre to the near side with Ariel Zamora. Out to the far side, Richard Ball, and the shotgun is Ayers, and he throws it and airs it out and has a man. Richard Ball had a step but unable to get up to the ball as Ayers overthrew him by about a step, but Ball had a step on the defender, and just off the fingertips of Richard Ball, going to bring up 4th down, and Kinnick still has Ayers in. It looks like they may even try and go for it here. Actually, Ayers is going to go up and snap the ball back to Matt Engstrom. They're going to punt. And that looks like Will Newsom back for the Edgren Eagles. Engstrom gets ready to take the snap and kicks the ball away, and that's a nice punt out to the sideline, and that's going to roll out of bounds at about the 13-yard line, and a nice effort there as Engstrom's able to roll it out with 2:34 left to go in the first half of play. This is Rob Riggle bringing you Kinnick High School Red Devil football tonight as they face a tough battle against the Edgren Eagles from Massawa. We're up here in Massawa on a cold winter night, and or getting towards winter, cold autumn night. And Kinnick finds himself trailing late in the first period, 8-0, but has Edgren backed up in there, deep in their end. Unfortunately, do not have any timeouts left, as they were forced to use 3 timeouts earlier in the half, so they can't stop the clock if they can get a stop on Edgren here. They just got to hope that Edgren can stop the ball, get the ball back, and hopefully get some yardage. So Edgren's got their work cut out for them, too, as they have about 83 yards of the field to drive for a score. Kaloe just hairs it out, and the only one ready to catch it, and that happens to be Rextini Andre, and Rextini Andre tries to fight himself away, but at the 43-yard line comes up with a huge turnover, and the worst thing that could have happened to Edgren did, as with hardly any time left in the first half of play, they turned the ball over again for the second time, and that's one of the things that Kinnick's been able to really capitalize on is in the giveaway takeaway category. They're really doing well this year, and they've come up with 2 turnovers early tonight, but unable to score on the first one. But here, late in the second half or second quarter of play, have a shot to put some points on the board with 2:24 on the clock. Shotgun formation as Bob Stovall is going to make sure that he uses the clock to the best of his ability, maximize that time. Airing it out deep, and with the step is Richard Ball, but that ball is going to be picked off. And with some running room, it looks like to the left-hand side, and still a lot of room to run, and cutting the ball upfield, and still on his feet, but brought down with a huge tackle was Gerald Soriano grabbing the feet, and that's number 5. Will Newsom grabbing the feet of Newsom, and the worst thing could have happened for Kinnick is they turn over the ball for the first time and give it to Edgren. And with 2:03 on the clock, deep into Kinnick territory, the ball went down, not deep into Kinnick territory, but to the 45-yard line. And that's going to be cause for concern for Kinnick, who seem to have things going their way, and were unable to stop, were unable to come up with a pass completion, interception, and huge run back by Will Newsom has put Kinnick in a bind here late in the first half of play. High formation for Edgren. Kaloe gets ready to take the snap. Hands off to the second back through. Looked like Govan. Govan's got the ball and some running room out to the left-hand side, and he's got an opening. And a tackle made by Edgren, and that's another touchdown-saving tackle, but all the way down to the 15-yard line of the Kinnick High School Red Devils is David Govan of the Misawa Edgren Eagles. And it's a crunch time and a critical period here for Kinnick. And they stopped the clock to move the chains, but a huge first down for Edgren, and things are not looking good for the Kinnick High School Red Devils at this point in time as they are facing crunch time with 1:54 left to go in the game. And I don't know why they didn't start the clock, and they're starting the clock now. Some confusion in the backfield. Kaloe's trying to roll out. He does see a man, but can't get it to him as that's incomplete, and they're going to call pass interference on Ariel Zamora there as he was laying on the back of it. Looked like Govan, but looks like a player down on the field, and that might be Kaloe, and he's hurt. And that's going to be a huge loss for the Edgren Eagles if he has to go out, because looks like he's in some pain. Now he's getting up, he's hobbling, maybe an ankle. Going to send the trainer out as he's limping, and he's going to try and walk that off. Now, he may have just got hit in the calf or something. It's tough to say. They're going to mark off the penalty. That's going to be pass interference against the Kinnick High School Red Devils. That'll be an automatic first down. And that's going to be half the distance to the goal line, going to bring them about 7 yards closer and put it right about this Kinnick 7.5-yard line. And digging in here are the Kinnick High School Red Devils, and Edgren's going to call a timeout. And that's probably opportunity for Kaloe to get his leg looked at, as it looked like he either bruised a thigh or bruised a leg or maybe turned an ankle. Nonetheless, very tense moments here for Kinnick in the first half of play, as with just a couple of ticks left on the clock, they've got a situation where they couldn't have predicted would happen. They were deep in Edgren territory after a turnover. Ayers, unable to get the ball to Richard Ball, who was an open receiver, gets intercepted and picked off, and that ball is run back by Will Newsom for a huge Edgren gain. And unfortunately for Kinnick, the next couple of plays from scrimmage for Edgren netted some huge gains, and now with the costly pass interference penalty gives Edgren the ball at the Kinnick 7-yard line, and 1st and 10 from there. Kinnick gets ready to get placed on defense here. Misawa still talking about it on the sideline. But Kinnick had a pretty good defensive effort in the first half, but costly turnover late in the first half. It's going to be interesting to see whether Kinnick can weather this storm here. Kaloe is back in at a quarterback. He never did go out due to the timeout in the I formation. 2 wideouts to the far right-hand side. That ball's just handed off full straight ahead. And it didn't look like much of a gain there, as tackled around the 7-yard line, maybe the 6-yard line on the play. And that looked like it was probably, it's tough to say, I couldn't tell, but it looked like Adam Lewis on the carry. Govan and Lewis in the backfield in the I formation. Kaloe gets ready to take the snap and does, and pitches it deep to Govan, and Govan has no room out to the far side, and he's pushed out of bounds. And a nice job by the Kinnick High School Red Devil defense late in the first half as they push Govan out to the far side of the field, and good pursuit on that by Ayers and Edgren, who force Govan out to the far side of the field. Also in on that assist was Rextini Andrade. That's going to bring a 3rd down and goal from about the 5-yard line. And this is probably the biggest play of the game so far for the Kinnick High School Red Devils, as they're trying to go in with just the 8-point deficit here early in the first half of play. And Edgren threatening to score. Back in the I formation are Lewis and Govan. And that's going to be a delay of game on the Edgren Eagles. That penalty's coming often tonight, as that's the 3rd delay game we've seen tonight, and that's to the benefit of the Kinnick High School Red Devils, as that moves the ball out to the 10-yard line. And Kinnick is hoping that that's going to be just the medicine that the doctor ordered here, is they need to come up with a big stop. And that's a reverse, and that's sniffed out, and a huge loss on the play, and tackled for about a 7-yard loss by by Ayers, and number 34, Matt Steins. Matt Steins in on that tackle, and they had that sniffed out the whole way, as that fooled nobody. And that's going to bring up an interesting scenario here, as it's going to be a long field goal, no matter who you are, and it's going to be 4th down and goal from about the 20-yard line. So Kinnick's really going to have to sink in here, and it'll be interesting to see what Edgren tries to do on 4th down and 20, or 4th down and goal from the 20. 52 seconds left on the clock. Kinnick cannot stop the clock. If you're wondering at home whether they have a chance to stop it and get the ball back again, that clock can be run down as far as they want it to go. The officials talking around the football. It's a timeout for the Edgren Eagles. Kinnick not having any timeouts. They want to discuss this 4th down play. And it'll be interesting. They may just try to load up one side of the field and get a touchdown that way by trying to open it up. But Kinnick's going to have their work cut out for them, as it's going to stretch the field for them. And they've got a lot of men back. They're only going to put about 5 or 6 men in the box, it looks like, and dropping back deep is Soriano. Richard Ball, the cornerback, to the near side, and they're not going to let anything get by him here. They're going to try and saturate the field with as many people as they can in different areas and come out in a zone-type defense. Engstrom, the middle linebacker, trying to make sure everybody's covered. That snap is away, and predictably, Kaloe is trying to, and sacked for a huge loss. As Kaloe, and that ball comes out, but it hit the ground, and Kaloe unable to get rid of the ball and tackled for a huge loss down to the 40-yard line. And a big stop for the Kinnick High School Red Devils as they take over on downs with 36 seconds left on the clock. And they have no timeouts to work with, but they've certainly shown they can move the ball in bunches, unable to come up with any points at this point in time, but still having some pretty good offensive numbers in the second quarter as they opened it up a little bit. The big key to this half is that they were able to stop Edgren deep in their own end. At one point, Edgren was facing a 2nd and goal from the 5, and a costly penalty and some good defense by the Kinnick High School Red Devils has changed the possession to Kinnick. And in the I formation, Ayers gets ready to hand off into the second back through, and that's Soriano, who spins free, had some running room, but we're unable to stop the clock, and they're going to try and get up. And the officials are going to stop the clock. I'm not sure as to why, but they did. And they're going to let them move the chains. So with 32 seconds, and there's a penalty, I'm not sure what the official's doing there. Yeah, he pointed to his head with both hands, and I'm not sure what exactly he's doing, but that may be illegal substitution, and that's what it is, and that is a 15-yard penalty. And typically what that is too many men on the field. So they made us snap the ball and caught him out of position there. And Edgren, a huge, costly penalty. 32 seconds left on the clock, illegal substitution. and that's going to be a 15-yard penalty. Kinnick has an opportunity to try and get it down there and get something done. Daniel Ayers certainly has the arm to try and get it down that far down the field from about the 50-yard line. Kinnick has 4 wideouts, single back set, but Ayers throws the ball and that goes nowhere, but it is caught. And that reception is made at about the 48-yard line of Edgren. It isn't going to bring up anything. It's probably going to move it back to maybe a half-yard gain, 1-yard gain, but the clock's going to run out as Kinnick has no timeouts to stop it, and unable to get out of bounds was Richard Ball on the reception. So Kinnick looks like they're going to be content. Nope, they're going to run up there and try and get this thing snapped. And running off the field, trying quickly to get off the field, and Ayers takes the snap, and there's a penalty on the play, and Ayers is just going to fall on it. And he's tackled for a huge loss, and it doesn't matter. Time runs out. There's a penalty there. The Edgren Eagles may choose to just decline that because Kinnick can just get back up to the line of scrimmage, snap the ball, and fall on it. So with no time left on the clock and a flag down on the play, Kinnick unable to get anything done for points in the first half, but the defense held tough, only yielding 1 touchdown and a 2-point conversion. And as they come out in the second half of play, they're going to be receiving the ball, so it's really big, the possession coming to Kinnick first on a deferment, and that's what they're going to call it, end of the first half. This is Rob Riegel, C-Phase 7, a division of your MWR, bringing you Kinnick High School Red Devil football, and we'll be back with second half action in just a few moments. This is Rob Riegel, along with the cameraman, Skylar Hernstrom. The ball's going to be kicked off, and it's underway. And it's bobbled around, but falling on the ball is Soriano. A smart move there as he falls on the ball at the 31-yard line. Kinnick gets the ball first in the second half, trailing 8-0. At halftime, got a chance to talk to a couple of the Kinnick staff, and one of the things they were concerned about is the pressure on the offensive line as the defense for Edgren's able to come through around the ends, affording not much time for Ayers to throw or to get any run plays off. It'll be interesting to see how Kinnick tries to address this early on, going with the single back set. In motion goes Soriano. Ayers hands off to Engstrom, who's got a huge hole and is dodging one man and finds an opening and is blocking, running ahead. A huge gain, and the first big gain up the middle for Kinnick tonight as Engstrom found a big hole, and I think it surprised the Edgren defense. And Matt able to come up with a huge gain of about 25 yards on the play, bringing it down to the 42-yard line of Edgren. As they move the chains, that'll give us a chance to kind of set the first half in perspective for you. It's an 8-0 Edgren lead, a touchdown in the corner of the end zone, as it was well defended by Kinnick, netted 6 points for Edgren and a 2-point conversion in the first quarter of play. Or excuse me, second quarter of play. The pitch out, and Daniel Ayers is not able to get rid of the ball as he had Ponemeyer out to the right-hand side, but unable to get the pitch off, and that's going to be a loss on the play of about 3 yards. And Edgren up to the task there as they're able to stop Daniel Ayers, and that's been really the story for Kinnick tonight, is that with the exception of the play we saw netting the first down here, very few big plays for Kinnick as they've been unable to get to the end zone of Edgren, whose defense has really dictated the tempo in the first half of play. As we approach the second half, Kinnick really needs to put points on the board on this first drive. Ayers has time. Airs it out. He's got a man wide open. Ariel Zamora dekes up player, has room, and that's a huge gain as the pass nets some big yardage down to the 16-yard line as Ariel Zamora with his first big pass completion of the night. And that's exactly what Kinnick needs to do, as they've been facing some very, very tough pressure. And in that particular case, Ayers was able to stand in the pocket, did not have to run around, and found plenty of time to throw to a wide open Ariel Zamora. First and 10 for Kinnick. Call it the 17-yard line of the Edgren Eagles, maybe the 18. Deep threat for Kinnick. Their first drive in the second half. In the I formation, the deep back is Ponemeyer, the up back Engstrom. And the pitch is out to Ponemeier's got room out to the right-hand side, but he's got pursuit. He's trying to turn the corner and does, and able to get past the 10-yard line down to about the 5, it looks like, on a huge play as Ray Ponemeier able to break free to the right-hand side, and they're going to call him out of bounds at about the 6-yard line, it looks like, bringing up first and goal for the Kinnick High School Red Devils. And that one's coming back. We have a holding penalty, and that's going to be called against Kinnick. That's going to be a 10-yard penalty. And they're going to mark that off as J.J. Samar was going to go up to the field of play. They're asking Edgren, what do you want to do? Of course, they're going to accept. Yeah, and they do, and that's going to back them up. And that's a hold, and that's going to move them back. And it's going to move them back really what to amounts to the original line of scrimmage. Going to bring up a second down as they're going to do that from the spot of the foul. Unsure as to why. Okay, first down. That was the first down. So basically nothing gained, nothing lost as Kinnick just nullifies a big running play. Soriano has some room and tries to break free and moves ahead, able to get the ball up to the 15-yard line, a gain of about 2 yards on a play. Going to bring up a second down and 8. A good tackle put on by Edgren there as Soriano unable to come up with anything really in the running game for the Kinnick High School Red Devils tonight, as they've really keyed on him on the defense, and he's very rarely been able to get much room to run right after the snap. Ayers doing a good job getting the snap to the handoff to him as he's been pressured all night long. Zamora on ball out to the left-hand side. And throws away and turning around, and actually we may see a flag on that, and we will. Some pretty obvious pass interference is out to the right-hand side. Number 21 for the Kinnick High School Red Devils was unable to get to the ball as he was held up. So they're going to call that. That's going to be an automatic first down for the Kinnick High School Red Devils, as that's going to be holding or pass interference. And a good effort there by Kinnick, as Daniel Ayers did have the man open, would have probably completed the pass, but a little bit eager on the play was the Edgren defense, and that's going to bring up a first down and goal now for Kinnick. And we're going to call that first and goal from about the 7.5-yard line, maybe the 8-yard line. Ayers pitches it out to Soriano. Soriano out to the right-hand side where he's gang tackled, and he's going to have a loss on the play there of about 3 yards as he's gang tackled about the 9, maybe the 10-yard line. And there again, Soriano just not able to get off on the ball at all as he's being keyed on immediately. He has a whole host of people pursuing him as soon as he starts moving away from his set position. So actually it's going to bring up a second down and goal from the 11 here, and Kinnick has been deep in Edgren territory a couple of times tonight, unable to come away with any points. One case of turnover and another a fourth down stop, but this is their deepest penetration of the night to the 11-yard line, and a big second down for Ayers. In motion is Engstrand as he comes across Ayers' back. It's going to be the option out to the left-hand side. Ayers does have some room, does get the pitch off. Ponemeier picks it up and is able to actually come up with a couple of yards there, and surprisingly, because he was fortunate, the ball just bounced into his hand. It did hit the ground as on the pitch. Ayers was a little late getting it off to him, and a lucky break for Kinnick, and they're going to stop the clock as the ball went out of bounds. And actually that was a loss on the play. It was hard to tell from our particular angle here, but third down and goal to go from the 13-yard line. And I think what they may be, or were saying, is that the ball was down and it may have rolled, it may have forced him out of bounds. It's tough to tell. Jared Fritz out to the left-hand side. High formation for the Kinnick Red Devils out to the far right side, Richard Ball. Ayers looks to throw. There's a flag down. That ball's picked off, and Daniel Ayers is the only man that's going to get him. If he doesn't tackle him, he's down, and he does. A touchdown-saving tackle made by Ayers is on the interception was number 34 for the Edgren Eagles, and that's going to be an illegal procedure against Kinnick. And if it stands, offsides against a huge break for the Kinnick High School Red Devils. That's going to be offsides against Edgren. The worst thing that could have happened, they're going to have to move that back up, and that's going to be a 5-yard penalty, as it's going to be again 3rd and goal, but this time from about we'll probably see it about the 8-yard line. So a huge turn of events there in just a couple of moments, as it looked like Kinnick was going to be facing a possible defensive touchdown, a game-saving or possibly game-saving tackle made by Daniel Ayers, the quarterback, but then it calls for not, as that play won't stand on the record books due to the offsides by Edgren, which not only gives Kinnick another chance, but also forces Edgren away from a possible situation where they could have put more points on the board. So Kinnick's going to go set here again. Daniel Ayers is going to go into the shotgun formation. Off to his left-hand side is Edgren. And all close in are the backs, and there's some people out to the left-hand side, and Ayers can't get free, and he's going to be sacked for a huge loss on the play, as he was unable to get rid of the ball and maybe should have just thrown that one out the end zone. It looked like he had Ponemeyer briefly on the left-hand side towards the deep end of the end zone, but he was just unable to pull the trigger on that, as he was facing a tough defensive rush from Edgren. This is going to bring 4th down and about 16 for a touchdown here, as that was about a 10-yard loss on the play. So 4th down and goal from the 16-yard line. Daniel Ayers is under center for this play. Single back set. And they're going to call a timeout, as they're worried about the clock on this play. Soriano was the single back set, and it just looked like they didn't get the play in soon enough, so they're going to take a 1st down. And that cost Kinnick, we would maybe say cost Kinnick a chance at a drive late in the game. They had the ball with a few ticks left on the clock, but were unable to move it because they had used timeouts early in the first half. Good halftime show as the Yo High cheerleaders, Red Devil cheerleaders, got out and put a good show on for the Edgren fans, and always glad to see them participating and helping root on the Red Devils. Really good quality group of young kids. I want to tell them thank you for the good show. 9-ball tournament coming up on October 26th at 8 p.m. in the AC Ducey Lounge. All E5 and E6 and guests are welcome. Gift certificates will be awarded for this event, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place winners. And here's the optimum part of it. It's free. So if you like to shoot pool like 8-ball, E5 and E6, get out there for the tournament in the AC Ducey Lounge, October 26th. Another lounge game, darts, October 15th, 8 p.m. in the Country Bar at the club. All authorized patrons are eligible to participate in that. So 4th down, big play for Kinnick. Ayers under pressure again, lets the ball go, and wide open Richard Ball with a touchdown, and a huge touchdown for the Kinnick High School Red Devils, as Richard Ball came back to an underthrown ball, and Ayers was able to air it out just enough, and one of the times that he's had enough time in the pocket to get rid of it, and I think it caught Edgren by surprise because Richard Ball was wide open. Now, Kinnick is going to go for the 2-point conversion here. They really have no choice, as with a 2-point deficit, they're forced into it. Now, Edgren had the chance after their first touchdown to kick an extra point, chose not to, crossed up Kinnick a touch on that, and Kinnick's going to take it at the left hash mark, and from the shotgun is Ayers, and Ayers is going to take it with Edgren off to his right-hand side in a single back set. That ball almost gets away, and Ayers does have room. He's looking to throw. He's got a wide open man, and it's dropped! Dropped in the end zone. Unfortunately, unable to come up with the ball is Ponemeyer, as it hit him in the hands, and I think it caught him by surprise because it was coming right at his helmet. And Ayers wasn't able to get much on that, but it is 6 points for Kinnick as they narrow the gap to 2 points, and there's an injured player for Edgren on the field. But it looked like it was going to be a sack on the play, and Ayers was able to get the ball off, and Ponemeyer was standing in the corner of the end zone but unable to come up with the ball. So that may loom large for the Kinnick High School Red Devils, as 2 points may mean the difference here tonight. We'll have to wait and see, but nonetheless, a successful first effort, as with their first possession of the first half, they're able to come up with a touchdown and bring this game to a 2-point deficit, and Kinnick will have to just try and hold on defense here. Single service member. It's a Disneyland tour, October 17th, Ottawa Castle and Hakone Hot Springs tour as well. And October the 18th, New Sano Brunch and Tokyo Sightseeing Tour. And for all you single service members, if you're interested in going out and you're just not you may be wary, especially for the newer ships here, may be wary about going out on your own, it's a good opportunity to get out with a group of people who are in a similar set of circumstances and go see some of the fine sightseeing opportunities here in Japan. Beautiful country, and encourage you all to get out. Now they're going to help the injured player up. It's tough to see the number here as they've got a lot of trainers gathered around. And it looks like it might be number 34. And if it is, and if he's hurt, it's going to be a huge loss for Edgren, because Drew Cabanez, a fullback from Los Angeles, California, has been a spark plug for Edgren and has come up with a couple of huge plays. But he's coming off under his own power. He's favoring his right leg, maybe an ankle or a knee, but he's not going to let the trainers help him off. He gets a round of applause from the fine Edgren fans who happy to see him make it off under his own power. So Kinnick answers the call early in the first half, and they're going to kick off to Edgren with 7:28 remaining in the third period. I said early in the first half, I meant the second half. Edgren to kick off. Gets some good leg on it, but low to the ground, and that's going to skip around and touch by Govan, and Govan still doesn't have a handle on it, and he's going to dance around, and he's going to be run down and tackled deep in his own end as he was unable to cut free Govan. And then on that tackle's number 81, Richard Ball, who's able to get him up by a shoelace. And a good effort there by Kinnick on kickoff coverage, and it just looked like Govan was unable to just get a good handle on the ball. Adam Lewis and Govan had a good first half, racking up some big yardage there for the Edgren Eagles. It didn't look like it based on a score, but they both were running the ball real well. Also, Will Newsom, number 5, had a hand in quite a bit of big plays for the Edgren Eagles in the first half. So with their first drive of the second half, it sets up like this. Two receivers out to the left-hand side in the I formation. Kaloe takes a snap to the second back through, who's got some room to run and tackle for a gain of about 3 yards on the play as Govan. And Govan gets up with a little bit of a attitude, and he seems like he's ready to come out and play. So that's a gain of about 3 yards, going to bring up a 2nd down and 7. And Kinnick is really going to be forced to hold on to Edgren here, because if they don't, they're going to be facing a tough situation. It was very difficult for them to get anything going in the first half on offense. They came out in the first series of downs in the second half and did something, but still want to try and get it done here. And the ball's on the ground, and it's recovered by Kinnick deep in the Edgren end. And a huge mistake in the third turnover by Edgren as Kinnick falls on the ball, and Ariel Zamora saw it laying on the ground and got right on it, and that's going to be a change of possession, and Kinnick has a great opportunity here as that ball's going to be placed down 1st and 10 for the Kinnick High School Red Devils from about the 22-yard line. I'm sorry if I'm sniffling into the microphone. I imagine it's right around a 50-degree mark here, so it's a little bit of a brisk night. There's no wind to speak of. And as I mentioned in the first half, in case you're just joining us now, the field's in excellent condition. A bit of rain, but the officials want to stop the clock. It's still been running down this whole time, and unfortunately, they're unable to get that done. They're trying to keep official time on the field, I think is what the drill is. But they do get it stopped finally. And Newsom's going to be back to punt, and this is a little bit unusual as, Kinnick's on offense there. Soriano takes the pitch, has room. There's a flag on the play. That may be a hold out to the right-hand side. He looked like he picked up about 2 yards, so it'd be 2nd and 8. But it may have been movement on the right-hand side or a hold, because the flag came in right where you don't want to see it from the line judge. And they're already talking to Edgren saying, what do you want to do? So Kinnick having a couple of costly penalties and one costly interception as they got deep in, and that's going to be a clip, is what they're calling that. And that's going to be a huge penalty, as that's going to back them up for 15 yards. And Kinnick shooting themselves in the foot a little bit here, as they had a good situation there with 1st down and 10 from the 21-yard line. That's going to move the ball all the way back to about the 35-yard line. And Edgren gets a break there as they get the clip called on Kinnick, and Kinnick's going to be facing a first down and about 25. And they were able to come up with a 22-yard gain for first down, but the pitch is out to the left-hand side. That's Ponemeyer, has an opening, finding it out to the left-hand side, still on his feet, but forced down, and he's going to actually suffer a loss on that play as the pitch was too deep, and he was unable to gain that pitch distance back, and he's going to be about a 2-yard loss on that play, which is going to make it second down and 27 now for the first down. So the turnover proving not to be too costly for Edgren thus far, as they've actually gained yardage and moved out of their end further due to the Kinnick penalty and now the first down loss of 2 yards. Ayers gets ready to take the snap in the I formation, looks to throw, throwing on second down, has a man open, Richard Ball, and that ball's knocked away at the last moment by Govan, and that may be a penalty, roughing the passer, I believe, as there's going to be a flag thrown in the backfield, and that may be a late hit or a roughing the passer by Edgren. And that's exactly what it's going to be, roughing the passer. And what this does is it's huge, is it nullifies whatever Kinnick would need for a first down. It's an automatic first down on a personal foul. And Edgren's not happy about that. And really, it was number 71 that they're calling on that, and that's Jason Stedman, who's had a really sound game thus far. He's really interrupted a lot of the Kinnick offense. But he got a little aggressive on Ayers, and the official was right there and threw the flag right at his feet as it happened. And Stedman cost his team a first down. Supposed to be an automatic first down, and they finally figured that out, and so they roll that over. It's going to be first and 10 from about the. I'm going to call that about the 23-yard line. So it's about where the original turnover took place to put him in the offensive set. Zamora's in motion. Single back set is Ponemeyer, and the pitch is out to him on the option. He's got room, but drugged down. He maybe got a yard or two loss on that play as the pitch is coming very deep to Zamora on that play the last couple of times, and hasn't fooled anyone as the speed of Edgren is apparent as they're able to get to the outside and stop that play. And that's going to bring up a second down and about 12 yards for the first down. They can get a first down if they reach about the 7-yard line. Soriano bringing the play in, and one of the things we saw in the first half was that we saw consecutive delay of game penalties, so Kinnick's going to be trying to pick up the tempo, trying to get their set put in. 8-6, Edgren leads the Kinnick High School Red Devils. This is Rob Riegel bringing the action on C-Face 7 as Daniel Ayers gets ready to take the snap. Soriano's a single back, looking to throw and thrown out to Engstrom, who does catch the ball on a nice reception and pulls his way down. It looks around the 10-yard line, going to bring up a third down and 3. And Engstrom turned around just as the pass got to him in a nice timing pattern there. And Matt picks up about 9 yards on a play, and it's going to bring up a third down and 3 from about the 10-yard line. Big third down here for Kinnick as they need to try and put some more points on the board, and if they can get a lead against Edgren, I think it's going to be a big momentum change. And Daniel Ayers with Ponemeyer in the backfield. Out to the left-hand side is Zamora. And that's Daniel Ayers on the keeper all the way up to almost the goal line, and that's going to be close to a touchdown, and it is. Touchdown, Kinnick High School Red Devils on the quarterback keeper as Ayers breaks through the line of scrimmage and gives Kinnick its first lead of the season against the Edgren Eagles. After 6 quarters of play this year so far, Kinnick leads for the first time, and that's going to bring the score to 12-8, and I think we'll see Kinnick again line up for the 2-point conversion. Off to the left hash mark goes Kinnick High School Red Devils as they're trying to answer with 2 more points on the 2-point conversion. And a little uncertain on this set, but the officials haven't put the ball in play, and now they do. And the snap's made to Ayers, who was in the shotgun formation, and he throws the ball, and that's it. 2 points. Richard Ball comes up with a 2-point conversion, and that's going to be another penalty, I believe. It may be a late hit. It's going to be tough to see what they're going to call this. Illegal substitution. Kinnick had 12 men on the field. 15-yard penalty. That is going to be a 15-yard penalty. Obviously, Edgren will take that. It looked like there was some confusion on the two-point conversion, and Kinnick just had an extra man on the field, and I think they're going to talk to the official and kind of find out what the deal was, but that's going to back them up to about the 17-yard line. As an illegal substitution in high school football is a 15-yard penalty. It goes along the lines of unsportsmanlike conduct is how they look at that. Okay, so the same set as they had for the two-point conversion that was nullified. Ayers is in the shotgun. He's looking. He's rolling out to the right-hand side. He does have room out to the right-hand side. He won't get around the corner, however, as he's drugged down from behind. And that's just going to leave the lead at 12-8, and the Kinnick High School defense is going to have to prove themselves one more time, as late in the third period of play with 3:57 left on the clock in the third quarter, Kinnick leads 12-8 in their first lead of the year against Edgren Eagles, and Kinnick's seen a momentum changes on two consecutive possessions. Kinnick's able to score, and turnover is very costly for Edgren as they turned it over deep in their own end, and Ariel Zamora was able to fall on the ball. And after a couple of penalties and a couple of missed opportunities, Kinnick comes up with a huge first down on a roughing the quarterback call against Jason Stedman of the Edgren Eagles, and that puts Kinnick back in position to score. And with a really nicely designed play, the quarterback sneak by Ayers, and that's a touchdown from the 10-yard line. Edgren deep for them is going to be Govan, a definite threat. Govan has had some great runs. Now, on the last one, he mishandled it. He was able to pick it up, but Kinnick was right on him right after that. And that ball is going to go down to 21, and he drops the ball and puts it on the ground, and he's going to be tackled immediately after doing so. And Kinnick, the beneficiary of a lot of turnovers thus far this year, and, you know, a huge advantage this year in the giveaway takeaway column, almost able to come up with one more, is number 21, which I don't have his number. It may have been 31, Marcus Hayes, whoever picked up the ball, unable to move the ball forward, and Kinnick right on him. So that's going to be 35-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Edgren Eagles, and Kinnick's going to try and get set on defense, and Edgren's getting to the line quick. That's a run play and a huge, nice tackle for no gain as Govan gets the ball, but Daniel Ayers just hit him immediately and put him on his back, and Govan signaling, gesturing to Ayers, but I don't know what he's got to be proud of with a tackle like that. No gain on the play, 2nd and 10. Kinnick defense playing a big game so far today. They've had a couple of key stops, one late in the first half. Ariel Zamora fakes the blitz. That's coming out, and that's going to be a flag on the play. And it looked like we saw some motion out to the right-hand side. And to the near side of the field is where the flag was thrown, and it's tough to see what they're indicating here, but the officials are going to talk about it, and they're maybe looking at offsides Kinnick, and it is. It's an offsides against Kinnick, and I didn't see that unless they lined up offsides, the only thing that could have happened there. Faking the blitz was Ariel Zamora, and then he stepped back, and then the ball was snapped, and he came through, but they may have felt that he was encroaching. So 2nd down and 5 now for the Edgren Eagles as the last play doesn't stand due to the offsides. And there's going to be a timeout Edgren, and they're going to talk about it as the coaches want to get their play set. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the other things that might be happening that might get your interest, pique your interest. Everyone's talking about Saving Private Ryan, and the cameraman, Skylar Hernstrom, told me 2 thumbs up on this one. Must see. If you're in the military, this is the type of thing you got to go check out because it's supposedly one of the most realistic war movies ever made, and all-star cast, Matt Damon and Tom Hanks in the movie. But Saving Private Ryan is going to be coming Sunday, October 11th. It starts tomorrow. And, of course, it'll be showing throughout the week. But Wednesday, October 14th at 9 p.m., And I want to just caution the fans at home that may be thinking about taking their children. It is strongly advised that you do not take children under 17 to see this movie. It's a very graphic and realistic portrayal of the war, and we just want to make sure that that word gets out, that everybody try and keep the kids away from this one, because it is very adult in nature. Okay, going to line up for the 2nd and 5 now. Edgren forced to take a timeout with some confusion on the offensive play. And Kaloe brings him up. And actually, Kaloe's not the quarterback. 32's the quarterback, and I maybe just missed that from earlier. But that's Dean. I'm going to try this Grajaidai. I'm probably butchering that, and I apologize to his family if they ever get to see the film. Going to be 3rd down and 2, and this is a big 3rd down for Edgren, as they need to try and get some points on the board, and off through the sideline, actually. Yeah, number 32 is in, so we must see Kaloe must be either hurt or unable to come back in the game, and I do see him kneeling down by the bench, so he may have got hurt. And that's a huge sack for a loss, as Matt Engstrom comes up with the defensive play of the game on a huge loss. Tackled for about a 3-yard loss, going to bring up 4th down and 5. Engstrom got to the ball carrier, Govan, and put him on his back just as he got the handoff. Matt Engstrom probably could be considered so far this year as the team's MVP. He's been named a number of times tonight already on the tackles, but he is doing a heck of a job out there. Able to get the punt away to Ayers. Ayers got some room to run, picks up a block from Soriano, but struck down by the shirt at the 35-yard line. Kinnick's going to take over with 1:33 left, and the momentum seems to be changing in the game as the Kinnick High School Red Devils back on offense again, and Edgren faltering on their second opportunity in the second half of play, unable to get the ball moving, and Kinnick's going to take over 1st and 10 from their own 37. And an excited Kinnick side of the field is got to be thanking whoever they believe in for the opportunities and the turnovers that have presented themselves. It hasn't been an easy half by any stretch for Kinnick, or game by any stretch, as they've battled for everything they've gotten. But nonetheless, on top right now, 12-8, and with some running room is Soriano, and really his probably best opportunity of the game thus far, as he was able to. Soriano was able to get a couple of yards on the play. That's going to bring up about a 2nd down and 8. Want to say hello to all of the members of the Carrier Task Force that are out at sea right now. Want to especially say hello to Admiral Keating and Captain Samar. Captain Samar's son, JJ, out there playing center tonight for the Kinnick High School Red Devils and doing a good job. Honemeyer on the carry. He's got some room. He's going to pick up a gain of about 3 yards on a play. Going to bring up 3rd down and 5 as he gets up to about the 43-yard line of the Kinnick side. And Honemeyer's had some success, a little bit of success tonight, as he goes off. Got a great block from Matt Engstrom. Daniel Ayers doing a good job. He had a lot of pressure early in the first half, and one of the things that we see typically in these Kinnick games in the second half is Kinnick, being a much quicker team and a smaller team, is often able to outlast the opponents in a physical game like this. Conditioning matters, and Kinnick is in great shape this year. Ayers looking to throw, has room out to the right-hand side, may keep it, throws the ball, gets rid of it, and that pass is caught, and the official says, yes, that's a completion, and that's going to be a big 1st down, and that'll move the chains for Kinnick as they move it over to the Edgren side of the field and bring up a 1st down and 10 yards from about the 46. They're going to call it about the 47-yard line, and that was a nice reception. I'm sorry I didn't get to see the number on that, but it looked like Engstrom was able to bring the ball down, and then he got pushed out of bounds, and it is Engstrom on the reception. So Matt making his presence felt. High formation for Kinnick. Out to the left-hand side is Richard Ball, to the near side. And that's a pitch, and held on to unbelievably by Ponemeyer. but that's going to go for about a 1-yard loss, as he's lucky to get anything at all out of it. As the pitch back to him hit him in the helmet almost, and he was just juggling it, but he did get his hands on the ball. And one of the things that the coaches just got to be really concerned about is holding on to the ball. And just to let the fans at home know that are watching the game, there's a lot of dew on the grass and a lot of dew on the ball. Our camera equipment that's been sitting up here for a couple hours now has dew all over it, so it's one of those things that they're going to have to watch out for, and they're going to mark a penalty off against Kinnick, and it looked like an illegal procedure there, and that's going to move the ball back to their side of the field. And that'll bring up a 2nd down and excuse me for my ignorance. End of the period, they just reversed the field. It was close enough to the other side. Okay, at the 47-yard line, 4th quarter, Kinnick High School Red Devils late in the game now with a 4-point lead. In motion goes Ariel Zamora, single back set. Soriano, the single back. The pitch out to Soriano. He's able to evade a tackler. He might pick up some blocking up in the middle of the field, and does. Gets back to the 50-yard line, but again, the pitch is very deep on that play, and it's going to be a net result of a loss, even though it looks like he should have got more yardage than that. He was unable to come up with anything as he was caught early in the backfield, and he's going to be limping off, and he may have an ankle problem as he's trying to limp towards the sideline. So Kinnick, already a little bit nicked up, cannot afford to see Soriano get hurt. But in the game right now in the backfield looks like Ponemeyer and Edgren. It's going to be the shotgun to Ayers. Ayers has some time, does air it out. Richard Ball's got room and catches the ball, and he's down to about the 24-yard line of the Edgren Eagles. Is trying to get on defense was number 16 for Edgren, and it was just over his outstretched hands, and that was Clint Favor, and he did a good job trying to protect the pass, but the ball was well thrown, and Richard Ball was able to look up and come up with a big completion, and that's going to be a 1st down for Kinnick, and they're really threatening Edgren here with 11:05 left in the 4th quarter and a 4-point lead there on the 23-yard line, 1st and 10. It'll be interesting to see what Coach Robert Stovall calls here. Kinnick opening up in the second half, opening up the formation and also trying to get out to the wide side of the field when they can. Soriano does come back in, so he doesn't seem to be too bothered by whatever hampered him and made him limp off. It may have been something as simple as a shoe coming off or something. J.J. Samar brings him up to the line of scrimmage. J.J. the center. As Ayers has a single back set again. Soriano, the single backs, as Ariel Zamora goes in motion. And Soriano again, nowhere to go, and another loss on a run to Soriano. And you got to wonder at what time people are going to figure out that he's not going to get anything. That's a lot of negative yardage there for number 32 tonight. Is, in all fairness to him, the Edgren Eagles are just waiting for him to touch the ball. They seem to know exactly when he's going to get it. Edgren appearing as if they're in the huddle when Soriano's in there. I formation, Edgren and Ponemeyer. Ray Ponemeyer, the deep back. And it's the pitch to Ponemeyer. He's got some good blocking and finds it and gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Going to bring a 3rd and 10 Kinnick's way. And Ponemeyer makes up for the lost yardage on 1st down. And Richard Ball and Soriano will check back in. One of the things the fans at home may be noticing is that Kinnick is substituting quite a bit, and that's one of the tactics that they try to use to employ to try and keep their players rested, and it may be benefiting them here late in the 4th quarter, or late in the game in the 4th quarter, as they have a lead and are threatening Edgren with a huge 3rd down. That ball's away and picked off, and with miles of room onto the far side of the field. And tackled, and that's the worst thing that Kinnick wanted to see, was an interception, a turnover, and that ball comes all the way back out to the 42-yard line. It looks like there is a flag on the play, however, is deep down in the end of the field And let's hold everything here. We're going to have to see what's going to be called here. Holding or illegal block in the back probably on the return is what that's going to be. And they'll look at where that foul occurred, and if it was where he got the ball on the interception, they're going to mark that back, and that's going to be very unfortunate for Edgren because that's going to put them back deep in their own end. What they do is they mark that off from the spot of the foul. And actually, they're going to give this ball, it looks like, back to Kinnick. So it couldn't have been an illegal block in the back. It may have been an illegal chuck downfield. Yep, and Kinnick still got the ball according to the clock. So a big break for Kinnick as the interception goes for naught. And they actually pick up some yardage on the penalty as they're down to the 14-yard line, 1st and 10. In the I formation, Panemeyer's the deep back. He goes through, picks up about 2 yards on a play down to the 12-yard line. And Kinnick's threatening again, and you got to think that Kinnick put some points on the board. It's going to be very, very tough for Edgren to come back against the tough Kinnick defense so far tonight. Kinnick putting on a great second-half effort here thus far, and the officials are talking about something else, and I didn't see a flag, but they're showing it to be 4th down, but if it was an illegal chuck and they marked it off, it should have been a 1st down, and I don't know why they're looking at it as a 4th down right now, but that's what's being shown on the far side marker. And if that's the case, I don't know why they gave them. Okay, they're maybe saying 4th down and 1. And we're going back to the announcer here. Probably doesn't know what he's doing. It looks like it's 4th and 1, and I think I got confused there on the penalty. I thought they gave him a 1st down. It looked like he flipped over the yardage marker to 1, but what we really have here is a 4th down and 1, and a big play for Kinnick is if they can pick up this 1st down, it's going to go a long way towards seeing them put some points on the board. Knocked away from Richard Ball, and on 4th down, Kinnick deciding to throw the ball and not opt for the run, which hadn't been successful, but it breathes new life into this Edgren team who's deep in their own end with 8 minutes and 16 seconds left on the clock and still with every opportunity in the world to even this game up. On the change of possessions tonight, they're having some problem with the timekeeper. They're trying to get him to stop the clock, and he's not. So that cost about 5 minutes or 5 seconds on the clock as they let it run a little too long. So 1st and 10 for Edgren from about the 12-yard line, their own 12, and that's going to be a run. And Panemeyer sees it and holds him up, but still a big gain. And that looked like it may have been Govan, and was. Govan's showing he's not giving up as he gets it out to about the 20-yard line, and that's going to bring up 2nd down and 3 as he was able to get out to the left-hand side. Forced out of bounds, stopped the clock, and they set some time back on the clock to 8:20 to make up for the time that was lost before. 12-8 lead late in the game, 4th quarter, Kinnick ahead. And Kinnick comes out and puts 2 touchdowns on the board in the second half. The defense has been able to hold thus far. Back in at quarterback is Kaloe, Govan in motion. To the only back through, and a nice opening made there, and that looked like it was number 2, Adam Lewis on the carry. Lewis able to come up with the 1st down, and Kinnick wants to make sure that they stop these guys because they are a threat, and if they get down and score, it's going to be very tough for Kinnick to match that late in the game. Matt Engstrom, the captain of this Kinnick football team, talking to the defense, trying to get them fired up and let them know, got to hold them. Defense is set. Richard Ball's going to go back, play safety. I formation, Govan looking to throw. Has a man open. It's to the tight end. And a nice gain over the 40-yard line to the 42. And that's Adam Lewis actually coming out of the backfield. Caught the ball for another 1st down. And that's going to move the chains. And Edgren picking up yardage in big chunks here in the 4th quarter. Kinnick unable to come up with the stop. And Kaloe had all the time in the world to throw. Crowd's getting excited here as they sense an Edgren return to the end zone coming. Kinnick trying to stop that. Kaloi drops deep, back 7-step drop, finds another open receiver, and a gang of Kinnick tacklers around him, but that's going to be a huge gain, and they're going to give that to Edgren as the ball, or to Edgren as the ball did get loose on the field, but in on that reception was number 1 for Edgren. We haven't called him tonight, Randy Sutton. He's a backup quarterback from Compton, California. So now on the Kinnick side of the field at the 47-yard line, Edgren threatening deep into the, or midway through the fourth quarter of play, 7:56 left on the clock, and Edgren moving at will on the last 4 plays. NEI formation, Edgren to the second back through, and another nice gain, but tripped up nicely for a gain of about 1 yard. Looked like it'd go for more than that. In on the carry, Govan, and Govan stopped by Edgren, who managed to pick him up and hit him by the feet. And that's going to bring up a 2nd and 9, and Kinnick really needs to get a good hold here, as that was their real first good defensive effort in this series of downs, in this series or possession for Edgren. Edgren getting after it, breaking the huddle quickly, trying to get out, and it's more like a hurry-up offense. The pitch is deep to Govan, but sniffed out, knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be bringing up a 3rd down and probably about 5-yard lines, as Govan was unable to get out to the left-hand side. And in on that tackle again is Edgren along with Ariel Zamora. Kaloi drops back to pass, facing pressure. Ball's tipped away, hit his receiver in the back and knocked away by Kinnick, bringing up a huge 4th down, and it'll be an interesting decision for Edgren with 7:10 left on the clock. They may not want to give Kinnick the ball back in good position. They may elect to punt. Their defense has been good all night, only allowing 12 points on the board. But this is going to be the play of the game for the Edgren Eagles, as it looks like they are going to try and they're going to punt the ball away, and probably a wise decision because there still is plenty of time left on the clock. But what Kinnick wants to make sure they do is watch for the fake. Ayers on the reception. He's got room out to the left-hand side, and he's drugged down about the 20-yard line, maybe across to close to the 30, and it looks like it's going to be about the 28. And Kinnick with a huge stop against Edgren. They really needed to come up big on defense, and did, and able to take control of the ball. And with 6:59 on the clock, an anxious Kinnick crowd is watching the 4-point lead hold up late in the game. A really well-played game on both sides of the ball tonight by Kinnick, and also a well-played game by Edgren, as they've been able to hold Kinnick's offense in check. Daniel Ayers breaks through on a quarterback sneak, and that's worked a couple of times tonight, and he's got a big gain of about 7 yards, and that's not what Edgren needed to see, as they do not want to see Kinnick getting first downs, as they need to get the ball back to have any chance at winning the game. So a nice play called there, and Robert Stovall doing a good job in the second half, mixing it up, keeping Edgren confused. And Kinnick has had some success moving the ball, and you got to think that if they can get this ball down the field and score, it's going to be all over for Edgren, because there's not much time left on the clock, 6:26 and counting. 2nd and 3. Hands off to Ponemeyer. Ponemeyer gets through, and he's going to be close to a first down, as he needed to get up to about the 39, and he's at about the 38, going to bring up about 3rd and 1. So Misawa, Edgren Eagles, facing a clutch series of downs here as they come. They're facing now a 3rd down and about a half yard for the first down, and it'll be Soriano bringing a play into Ayers. And for some reason, the clock has stopped again, and I don't know what they're trying to do. They're telling the players, just don't even come up to the line of scrimmage. And what they're going to do is they're going to come in and measure. It's close enough for a measurement, and that'll give us a time to look at some things. I wanted to go back to this IA's travel. Airfares can be paid in U.S. dollars or yen, and some of these, just to give you an idea, some of these 2-day package tours include air and hotel. Sapporo, 26,500 yen. Almost cost me 26,500 yen to go to dinner. Okay, so for what I spend eating in Roppongi one night, you can go to Sapporo and have the hotel room. So you got to go check it out. I think it's going to be exciting for people who want to see if something a little better than the Sato office can help their wallets and help their fun here in Japan. And I think that's what you're going to get here is Air's going to bring him up. This is going to be a big play, 3rd down and half a yard, and he's going to go forward and probably has it as the Kinnick line has just got a scrum going, and he falls forward and probably has a well more than he needed there. He breaks the plane across the 40 up to the 43, and a good job by the offensive line as they just surge ahead, and it looks like Daniel Ayers, oh no, that's Edgren, and Edgren was probably just pushing Ayers in the back, trying to get him forward, but a 1st down and 10 and 5:35 left for Kinnick. And they're going to go ahead and start the clock, or should start the clock. And Kinnick's probably going to let this run down as far as they can on each play now. And that's what the official does. He just does blow in the start the clock. 5:34 and counting. Ponemeyer brings the play in to Ayers. Samar gets ready to snap the ball. Ayers under center of the I formation. Ponemeyer and Edgren in the backfield. Hands off to Ponemeyer, who had a little bit of an opening, but it closed up quickly. Gain of about a half yard out to the 48-yard line. Or excuse me, 43-yard line. The cheerleaders for Edgren trying to get the crowd back in it. You can hear a pin drop here as some anxious Edgren fans are trying to watch to see if their defense can hold a tough Kinnick offense here in the second half. And that ball gets to look like Soriano, who broke free for a big gain there, and that's going to be up close to the 50-yard line. So Kinnick with 4:16 on the clock, close to another 1st down as they're going to bring it up 3rd down and 4, and this would be huge if they're able to pick this up. It could be the series of downs that they need to seal a victory here. And there's some confusion. They got to call a timeout, and a good decision by Ayers to do so, as there was some confusion on the offensive line set. His number 64 was unable to figure out what place he needed to be in. So we've had a successful game thus far, the second half going all Kinnick's way as they're able to put up 2 touchdowns early and have been able to fight their way through a couple of misfires on downs, but come up with a big 1st down, and now they're facing 3rd down with 3:56 left on the clock. And Edgren certainly able of a quick strike to even this up. And Kinnick needs a 1st down here desperately, and it'll be interesting to see what Coach Stovall calls for the Kinnick High School Red Devils as they get ready to take to the line of scrimmage. The timeout called by Kinnick means they probably only have one. I'm just guessing. I think they've used 2 of them. And I believe Edgren's used a timeout in the second half, but I'm not keeping official statistics. But that's what I believe to be the case. Ayers is going to go under center for this one. They're not going to go to the shotgun. It's the I formation, Ponemeyer and Edgren. To Ponemeyer. Ponemeyer gets ahead. He's going to be a gain of about a yard, but it's not going to get him close enough. And it's going to be 4th down, and Kinnick's going to punt the ball away. And this is a dangerous situation for Kinnick and a dangerous time here, as they've got some speedy people on the Edgren side of the field. And with a 4th down and about 3 yards to go, Coach Stovall certainly not going to take any chances. He's going to have Edgren punt. and it's going to give Edgren the ball back with about 3:22 left on the clock. Now, they don't care if they run the clock down here, but Engstrand certainly able to get this ball deep, and if he can get this thing out of bounds, which I think is what he's going to try and do, they're going to go for it. Fourth down, they're going to go for it. In the I formation, they're going for it. Kinnick taking a big chance here, and what they're trying to do is draw the offsides, and they're not going to get that done. And what they don't really care, that's going to move them back 5 yards, but they were hoping to draw the Edgren Eagles offside. That play very, very seldom works, but disciplined Edgren team not taking the bait, and Engstrand's going to drop back to punt. Confusing sometimes because Engstrand is in the backfield most of the time, so this is definitely a punt formation. And he gets that thing ahead, and it's going to roll, and they're going to roll out of bounds, and that's what they want. They just don't want to give him the chance to have a huge return. And this is going to give Kaloe and his offense a chance to try and get some points on the board with 2:52 left in the game. Kinnick High School Red Devils trying to thwart the threat of the Massawa Edgren Eagles. And we have a barn burner here with just a 4-point lead on Kinnick's side. And a tough game thus far on both sides of the ball. So back on defense, Kinnick yielding only one touchdown today, and that one not easy for Edgren. As good defense on a touchdown that they were able to get late in the first half. Kaloe's out to throw, got some pressure, got a man open, and got a receiver. That's Adam Lewis down at the 50-yard line, and they're going to stop the clock because it's a first down, but a huge play as Adam Lewis is able to come up with a big play, and this is just what Kinnick was worried about, is giving the Edgren the ball back because they are so capable and they have such a quick strike offense. The fans are getting really excited below us on a 50-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Edgren Eagles. 2:44 left on the clock. Kaloe back to pass, looking deep downfield. Almost intercepted off the hands of a Kinnick defender there, number 31. I don't know who that is, but good defense as Richard Ball was in front of him. And good coverage there. And there's a penalty on the play, and this is not good if it's against Kinnick. Roughing the passer, 15-yard penalty against Kinnick. Huge turn of events here is Kinnick penalized 15 yards for roughing the passer after they defended so brilliantly. So 2:37 left on the clock, 1st and 10. Kinnick would have had him 2nd and 10 back at the 50. As it is now, 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Edgren deep into Kinnick territory now, definitely threatening to score here. And Kaloe's got plenty of arm. And out to the right-hand side is Govan, and Govan is met and pushed back immediately by Ayers and Engstrand. And he gets a gain of about a yard. It looked like he was going to get a lot more, but both of them teamed up to hit him from their linebacker positions. Also in on that tackle is number 62, Francisco. That's going to bring up a 2nd down at about 8.5 yards for Edgren. Of course, this is 4-down territory for them, but the clock's not in their favor. There's 2 minutes and 4 seconds left on the clock. Kaloe's going to look. He's looking to throw, rolls out, facing some pressure, but got room to run out to the far side. He's out of bounds at about the 25-yard line, but that's a 1st down, and that may be closer to the 20, and it is. Out of bounds at the 20-yard line, and the clock stops with 1:53, and Edgren is fired up as they have an opportunity here late in the game to try and put some points on the board, and Kinnick's going to call a timeout. The defense needs to talk about this because really dangerous territory as one pass ties the game up. It's easy for Kaloe at this point in time to put 6 points in the end zone because he's got that kind of arm. And the Kinnick defense is really going to have to tighten up here with 1:58. Edgren is making a big move down the field, and a 15-yard penalty really hurting Kinnick is roughing the passer after an incomplete pass that would have brought up 2nd and 10. Moves the ball 15 yards to the 35-yard line, and causes Kinnick to be put in a position where the game could be in jeopardy here late in the going here. Now, Kinnick's defense has faced this before. They had a similar set of circumstances against ASIJ, where ASIJ had a chance late in the game to come down and try and get things knotted up, and were unable to. So Kinnick no stranger to this sort of pressure, especially being three-time defending Kanto Plain champions. But the band's into it, the crowd is fired up, and this is going to be one big stiff test for the Kinnick defense. And Kinnick looking to go man-to-man on some of these players. Kaloi's looking to pass. He's got some pressure, and he's facing a stiff test. Almost picked off and thrown incomplete. Rextini Andrade almost came up with the interception there, and Kaloi lucky to get away with that. As he was throwing the ball on the run, he could have run out of bounds and stopped the clock too. But he got up to about the 20-yard line and tried to let go of the ball, and Rextini Andrade almost stepped in the receiver for the pick, and that would have been the game. 1:49 on the clock, second down and 10 for the Edgren Eagles from the Kinnick 20-yard line. Lewis and Govan on the backfield in the I formation as Kaloi brings them to center. They go to the offset formation. In the flanker position goes Govan. It's going to probably be a pass play again. Flanker goes in motion. Govan. They load up, and that's going to be a 5-yard penalty on Edgren, a false start, and they needed to get something done. What they were trying to do is they were trying to load up the left side and see if Kinnick would fail to match up, and when they didn't, it confused the offense, and they were looking at like either a delay a game or getting the ball snapped, and so that's going to be a 5-yard penalty, and that's going to make it even more difficult and going to bring up a second down and 15 now for the Edgren Eagles. And they're going to call a timeout. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to mismatch somebody in the end zone if they can, and they're trying to use their speedsters, Lewis and Govan, out of the backfield for these receptions, but Kinnick's not buying off on that, and I'm sure that Coach Stovall's letting them know, hey, they're trying to load up on one side. Pay attention. Everybody get a man. One of the things they need to be aware of right here is a quarterback sneak or a quarterback draw as he gets set to throw, and if they try to overload one side, they can open up the middle of the field. So I'm sure that Coach Stovall is going to talk to him a little bit about that. Be prepared. Kinnick defense here, second and 15 in the I formation. Kaloi looks to pass. He's got pressure from the two linebackers, has to get rid of it, and they could call grounding. There was nobody near it. The closest person was Adam Lewis. He didn't even have near the time to turn around. And on a nice linebacker blitz by both, it looked like Edgren and Ayers, Kaloi had no time to throw, and it's a third down at 15, and this is going to be the play of the game right here thus far. This is a crucial play for Kinnick. If they can come up with a stop here, will be paramount. I don't think anyone in the ballpark thinks that Edgren won't go on fourth down, even if they're back on the Kinnick on their own 1-yard line, but need a big stop here on third and 15. Kaloi looking out to the left-hand side. Almost intercepted. A beautiful play by Richard Ball, who read it the whole way. He knew what the play was. It was like he was in the Edgren huddle. Fourth down and 15, and the crowd is just on pins and needles here as Edgren must come up with a huge 15-yard play. And had Ball come up with that, he had some daylight in front of him. Richard Ball, a pretty speedy player, a forward on the basketball team, so it gives you an idea of his athleticism. He was able to come up with a good stop there. And fourth down here for Edgren, they're going to be forced to go for it. And in the backfield is going to be Lewis and Govan in the I formation. They're not going to drop Kaloi back to try and get him more time. And he's rolling out to the right-hand side, and they intercepted! Kinnick High School Red Devils, that looked like Ray Ponemeyer. Rextini Andrade intercepts the ball. Kinnick takes over and downs, and you could hear a pin drop here at Edgren Stadium as the wind has really gone out of Edgren's sails, and with 1:26 left and no timeouts to stop the clock, Kinnick, in a huge defensive stop, able to come up big here late in the going and put the defense on the field as it looked like Edgren was going to march down the field, and came up with just basically ripped off 60 big yards to get down to the 20-yard line, and Kinnick just stopped him right there, didn't let him go any further, and a huge penalty for Edgren as they were facing a 2nd down and 10 and got called for a illegal procedure. But I think there's no doubt about it that Kinnick is going to kneel on the ball a few times here. And I think that Coach Stovall wants to let him know, and Barney Rio does as well. He's calling them over, hey, look, here's what we need to do. Get on the ball. And one of the things that this is where it really is critical about your center and your quarterback exchange, and Jay Samar doing a good job all night on that, getting it to Ayers, and you got to feel that this is really going to be Kinnick's victory here if they can just get kneeled on the ground for 4 times. Not sure if there's any other problems there. They're talking about something at midfield. I think they're probably talking about, well, how many timeouts are there? You have this many timeouts, and they're trying to let the players know this is what you have. A big surprise tonight. I don't think there were many people that follow Japan, American football, high school football, who thought that Kinnick would be able to come up here and get a victory after seeing the just devastation that occurred when Edgren came down to play us at our home field and came away with a big 29-7 victory. And it's just surprising how well the tide has turned. And what you can see is Gerald Soriano staying way back, and what we're going to see is Daniel Ayers take a knee if he has to 4 straight times. He does not care. He's not trying to make a play. He's trying to get the time off the clock. And that's the first one. 1 successful snap, and a few more to go. 121, 120 if you're keeping track at home. And Kinnick High School Red Devils undefeated in a Kanto Plain, trying to avenge their only loss of the year to the Edgren Eagles. And it's just been a beautiful game, a well-played game on both sides, a defensive clash of the Titans, so to speak. And Kinnick comes away with some source of bragging rights here if they can just kneel on the ground a couple of more times. And we're under a minute, and there's one of them. And all he needs to do now is just get one more snap off. And if he can do that, this is Kinnick's victory. And you got to just look at the Edgren sideline. They're stunned. They came down to Yokosuka, made a 700-kilometer journey. It's about a 12-hour bus ride. Got off the bus fresh as a daisy and put a licking on Kinnick. And Kinnick here, able to answer tit for tat. And Ayers is going to take a knee for the final time, and he does. And they may call a penalty on that. I'm not so. Edgren's going to call their last time out, I guess. Do they have one left? I don't know. It's tough to say. I thought they had used them. But with 16.3 seconds left, bit of a mute point because Kinnick can still snap the ball. One of the things you may see Kinnick do, and it wouldn't come as a surprise to me, is you may see him take the safety. It'd bring the score 12-10, but then they can kick the ball away, and they don't have to take the risk of. And that may be what they're talking about. Coach Stovall may be saying, hey, run it out the end zone. It's always a possibility. And it looks like Engstron's going to get back to punt. Now we'll see if he actually punts it or not. And that punts away to the 42-yard line. It's going to give Edgren a couple of shots, 6.6 seconds left, and stranger things have happened here, folks. So you watching at home, don't go away. This is time for about one play in high school football, especially if it's a long pass. And I think what we're going to see is Kaloe try and load it up, and Kinnick's going to probably just try and sink back in there and drop a bunch of men back. What they want to make sure they do is they don't want anyone to get behind them. And they got a man out to the very far right-hand side. I think they finally got picked up by Ariel Zamora. And with 6.6 seconds left, Kaloe is going to drop, and it's away, and he's going to let it fly, and he got nicked as he threw it. And Soriano intercepts that ball and takes a knee, and that game is over, folks, and Kinnick's High School Red Devils avenge an early season loss to the Edgren Eagles, come up big with a huge 12-8 victory here at Edgren. And it's impressive, the defensive struggle that went on tonight. Kinnick comes into the game, takes a 0-0 tie after the first quarter of play. Second quarter, takes an 8-point deficit, has to come back from 8 down, takes it into the half, comes back, answers with 2 touchdowns in the second half, and the Kinnick team is just excited on the far sideline. It's just a jubilant celebration. And this is Rob Riegel with C-Phase 7. Glad you could be with us tonight with this stunning Kinnick upset coming up to Edgren on a cold fall night, avenging the loss 12-8, and it's one of the better played games of the year, and it was a pleasure to bring it to you. This is Rob Riegel for C-Phase 7, a division of your MWR. Good night, folks. Number 41. Got the JV here with us, and of course the cheerleaders. That's what we're going to focus in on. Hello, managers. How about a little coaches action? Cheerleader coach. There we go. Enough of that. As you can see, it's 9 o'clock and everyone's about ready to go to sleep. Good morning.
Good morning.
Look at all of them sleeping. See if we can get anyone drooling.
Yes, right below.
Red hot, ready? Everyone knows.
What? Victory, alright. Fight, fight, fight. D-I-C-T. what? Victory, alright. Fight, fight, fight. D-I-C-T. what? Victory, alright. Fight, fight, fight.
Go, get him, and when you got him, beat him.
Go, get him, and when you got him, beat him. Go, get him, and when you got him, beat him. Go, get him, and when you got him, beat him.
We say go, go.
When we say go, 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 go.
this investigation is very troublesome.